Lesson 2.2 is about the regions under the normal curve. And our memory verse today is found in Exodus 14, verse 27. It says, "So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea returned to its normal depth. While the Egyptians were trying to escape from it, the Lord threw them into the sea." At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to identify regions under the normal curve. And your MBCA boosters today is about your life's value to add or to subtract. You need to share in what instances or in what events can is your life's value added, and in what events or circumstances is your life's value subtracted, if there's any. Now, our venture activity today is an entry card, and the first student to answer to give all the correct answers will give the extra point, will have the extra points. Now, there are some rules in identifying regions under the normal curve. Rule number one: if both z's have positive or both z's have negative values, we need to subtract the area. Here's the first cue: negative to negative, subtract. Positive to positive, subtract. That's rule number one. But if two z's have different signs, you add the areas instead. Again, rule number one: negative to negative, subtract. Positive to positive, subtract. But if we have negative to positive, we will add. Let's have this illustration. For example, let me first snip this illustration. Oh, I need to mute. Okay, now let me go back to my snipping tool. Here's the first one. Now, if I'll ask you what is the distance or the area, again, we go back to these topics. Remember that if we say area, that's the same as probability, it's the same as percentile, or it can be percentage. And remember, the summation of all area is 1. So the highest area is 1. If I'll ask you, what's the area between the given z value and 0? It looks like this one. What's the area from 0 to 1? So this is 0, this is 1. This is the area from 0 to 1. How do we find it? We just go directly to our table A, or this is our Z table. But if we're looking for the area from a negative number to a positive, example, -1 to +1, remember rule number 1, from a negative number to a positive number, what will you do to their area? You need to add them. So area 1 plus area 2, that is the total. But if you will be working from a positive to positive, like this one, example 1 to 2, rule number 1 states that we need to subtract them. It means this one. This is area 2, right? This is area 2. And this is area 1. You subtract it, you subtract them, and you'll be left with this area. Now, let us have some examples. Ready? First example. What is the area of the normal curve bounded by z equals 0 and z equals 1? Remember, the reference is from 0. So 0 to 1, that is in your z table. You go back to your z table. Let's look for 1. That is 0.3413. Now, let's go to the next example. That's very easy if it's from 0. The next example is, what is the area bounded from negative 2.34 and 0? Again, the reference is at 0. So we look at our z table. That's 2.34, 2.3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer is 0.4904. Let's go to the next one. Ready? What's the area bounded from z equals 1 and z equals 2.70? Now here, it's from positive to positive. Rule number 1 states, same signs, we subtract the areas. So the area from 0 to 2.70 is 0.4965. The area from 0 to 1 is 0.3413. We subtract them, the answer is 0.1552. Next, let's go to number 4. You just look at the z values. It's from negative to positive. So what do? We will add the areas. Now, the area from 2.43 to 0, we have 0 here as a reference point. Let me first snip this one. Now, if you have your z table with you, the area, let's have a 0 here. The area from 0 to 2.43 is 0.4925. And the area from 0 to 1.81 is 0.4649. Remember, if it's from negative to positive, we add the areas. So the answer is 0.9574. If you have questions, you can raise your hand and I'll entertain it. Now let's go to the next one. Wait for a while. Now, we need to find the area from z equals negative 1 to z equals 1. It's from negative to positive. So we will add their areas. Now remember, you know what? You need to memorize the areas. These are very common for 1, 2, and 3. Like for example, if you could remember from 0 to 1, that is 0.3413. And from 0 to positive 1, that's another 0.3413. Negative to positive, rule 1 states we need to add them. So the area is 0.6826. Now let's go to the next one. Let's have the next example, or we'll be having the next rule.